gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's a Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
New tonight, police are investigating after a former Statesville High School football player was fatally stabbed. Our partners at The Record and Landmark report that someone killed Chavion Smith in Atlanta on Wednesday night. No word yet on any arrests. After playing football for Statesville High School, he went on to play for UNC Charlotte. No word yet tonight on funeral arrangements.
Only on 9, heartbroken and frustrated. That's how the mother of this young man killed says she feels tonight. The murder charge against the person who was initially accused was dropped.
Woo! So, guys, how many times do we see these situations? And let's not get it messed up. Super Gremlins will applaud any brother who defeats a murder charge. Let's not get it messed up. Any brother who beats any charge, the Super Gremlins are applauding. The community is applauding. They're welcoming them home with open arms, throwing a cookout, fish fry, whatever you want to call it. The Super Gremlins are embracing those who defeat or overcome murder charges. And this case is no different. Okay? What you guys have to understand is that this brother's life was taken. His murderer was captured. He beat the charges. So, you know, arguably, maybe he was innocent, maybe he wasn't. I'm probably going to lean toward he wasn't innocent. And it was a miscarriage of justice by these liberal George Soros funded and appointed DAs. And now this brother's family can't get any closure. They can't have any solace in knowing that this man's murderer is off of the streets. So we have that factor going in. And then you have the other element of the community who, when this brother's charges were dropped and announced they were dropped, whoever was accused of the murder, the community was cheering. They're happy. They're like, hey, hey, he a real one. He beat that murder charger. Hey, take that the mother in trial, like Young Thug. So you have to understand the community is embracing the fact that this young man's murder will likely never be solved. Now, the guy who was accused, the perpetrator, he is probably going to find himself in some trouble again in the future. But at this time, he's completely vindicated and able to go back into the streets and terrorize them once again.
Months after her son's death, only Channel 9's Glenn Counts learned the reason why that person accused is now free to move on with his life.
What is love? Well, love is a golden chain. Love is to tame. Love seeks nothing or no one to blame.
In January, we introduced you to Raymond Ntungwen, the poet and musical artist, was killed New Year's Day.
So I mean, I just feel like his dream was just cut short. His life was just cut short.
Pamela Ntungwen is Raymond's mother. This week she got word that prosecutors were dropping the charges in this case.
And he is a second generation immigrant, as it appears. So this brother's mother, she most likely immigrated over here and did things the right way, potentially got her citizenship, only for her son to, fall victim to the culture of the community, the Black American culture, if you will. And it looks like he was embracing, you see he had the gold teeth. So he probably was trying to replicate the image of the Thug Max Alpha Simp because he saw that it was something that was received well in the community. So it looks like he sought to mimic that type of personality, and it definitely backfired.
I feel really frustrated because I need justice for my son.
In court documents, the man initially charged told investigators that he shot and killed Ntungwen in self-defense. He said they were arguing over a bag of weed. It turned physical and the two struggled over a gun.
Wow. So there you have it. Like I said, he fully embraced the op culture. He fully embraced, you know, the Thug Max Alpha Simp mantra. It looks like he was trying to, you know, cop him some gas. And here's the thing. I've told you guys this time and time again. This is what you guys have to understand. And for one, the guy who caught the body, he's technically not supposed to be released because marijuana is illegal in Georgia. And then if you, you know, murder somebody or catch a body or someone is killed in the commission of a crime, that person who lives is supposed to be charged with that crime. Theoretically, that's the way the law is written up, at least. But it doesn't seem like they're implementing the law in that way anymore. And I have seen them do that. I have seen them interpret the law in that way. Recently, not too recently, maybe 5 to 10 years in the past, but that used to be the standard. Hey, if you are in the commission of a crime and someone dies, then you are held responsible for their death, whether you were the perpetrator or not. Even if you ended up being the victim, you participate in that crime, and then you are pretty much charged with their death. And that is how they have been interpreting the law for ages. And now, in this case, because of criminal justice reform and all these different things, now it doesn't matter. He was in self-defense, even if they were arguing over an illegal substance, a controlled substance, which has been outlawed. And, you know, I'm not a guy who's going to say, oh, you know, prosecute weed and chase down all the weed dealers. No, I'm not that type of guy. But what I'm saying is it is illegal in the state of Georgia. And you have somebody who it looks like they were in the middle of a transaction and somebody is killed. Because they're in a commission of a crime, he should have been charged either way. And it even looks like he was the one who pulled the trigger. So the fact that whether he was selling or buying, he was not charged is shocking in my opinion, and sets a it quite frankly sets a negative precedent for these cases in the future, because at this point, you know, I could be trapping and then somebody wants to come in and buy some a controlled substance from me, and I could just kill them and say, hey, they tried to rob me, it was in self-defense, and you're all good. So very interesting how this case was interpreted and how the charges were dropped. Doesn't really make sense to me because of, you know, decades of prior precedent that if you were in commission of a crime and someone was killed during that crime, you were held responsible, whether you were the perpetrator or the victim. If you were participating in the crime and you committed a crime and somebody's, you know, lost their life, you would be held liable in some way, whether it be manslaughter charges, second-degree murder, or whatnot.
Prosecutors say there was no video or independent witnesses. The filing says the state does not have any independent evidence to establish who was the initial aggressor in this case, and therefore the state cannot meet its burden of convincing a unanimous jury of 12 that the defendant was not acting in self-defense.
Wow. So it appears to me that the state didn't even take it to trial. They just dropped it because there were no cameras, no witnesses. It's just his word against the dead's. So, I mean, that's absolutely insane how this case played out, and in my opinion, breaks the chain of precedent in cases like this, and a precedent that has been set for decades, if not a century.
Man, how's the deal? You took 10 months. I was on the bench for 10 months waiting for something. And after 10 months, you tell me about, oh, there were no cameras, no witnesses. You could have told me that in 2 days, at the most, 1 week. You did not need 10 months.
Because of the stress of this case, Ntungwen moved from Pineville to Minnesota. She told us she could not stay in a place where her son's blood was crying out from the ground.
Love gives with nothing to gain. You know, love is God. Love is also humane.
If man fails to give justice, I'm trusting God and praying that He will give divine justice His own way.
That was Glenn Counts reporting. That mother says she's not sure what she's going to do now, but she is considering pursuing the matter in civil court.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
We are learning more about a young man murdered in Charlotte on New Year's Day.
Yes, police say that he was shot and killed that Sunday afternoon along West Tyvola Road near Billy Graham Parkway in southwest Charlotte. And Channel 9's veteran crime reporter Glenn Counts talked to his mother. Glenn, she's still struggling to understand why this happened.
Well, Erica, she has lots and lots of questions, and sadly the answers probably aren't going to do anything to ease her pain.
I often hear people ask, what is love? What is love? And I just decided, I'm going to share what love is to me.
Raymond Ntungwen loved poetry and loved to write.
He has like this volume of books.
Yeah.
He reads a lot of books because he writes. He does a lot of writing.
Pamela Ntungwen is Raymond's mother, and she's trying to come to grips with his murder. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon on New Year's Day, Ntungwen was shot and killed off West Tyvola Road. His mother won't forget the moment police came to see her.
And to this day, I don't believe it. As I told them, I don't believe what you said.
Yeah.
I said, I don't believe you people.
The family immigrated from Cameroon in West Africa. Pamela arrived 20 years ago, went to college, and became a registered nurse. She brought her son Raymond and her mother 8 years ago, and Raymond instantly bonded with his little brothers.
Because his happiest times is when he is with his brothers. They watch cartoons together. They'll go out there and kick ball for soccer together.
And of course, there is Raymond's poetry.
Love kindles a bright, everlasting flame. Through hate and strife, love is the same. Love gives with nothing to gain.
Police haven't said.
So obviously this brother was pretty introspective. Obviously we don't know him as well, so we can't truly determine who was the aggressor in this situation, but it sounds like to me he potentially was looking to either sell or cop some marijuana. And what the liberals are saying, nobody kills over marijuana, and I'm telling you that super gremlins kill over anything. It doesn't matter if it's marijuana, it doesn't matter if it's a bottle of water, it doesn't matter if it's Church's chicken, Popeye's chicken, or KFC. They're going to be on demon time either way. So we don't know if he was the one trying to sell or the one trying to rob. I'm going to assume he was the one trying to sell. And, unfortunately, like I've been telling you guys before, if you are going to do something like that, you cannot, under any circumstances, ever serve super gremlins. That's just the reality. And I've covered these cases over and over again, and I mean, it's the reality.
What the motive is in this case, but they have made an arrest. 28-year-old Michael Pringle has been charged with first-degree murder. Police say he turned himself in about an hour after the shooting.
There's too many questions because I just don't know how somebody can look at another individual and say, I can take away your life.
Raymond worked for Amazon, but his passion was writing and music. He dreamed about returning to Cameroon and producing artists back home. It hurts that his mother won't get the chance to see any of those dreams come true.
This year was going to be so promising. I was looking forward to some great things, and you can't do those things in the spirit. You have to be real to do it. So I need you to come back home. I'm yet to come to terms with this. I really am.
Love is as pure and impartial as the rain. Love. Love is all. All is love. In one beautiful frame. One fabulous name. Love.
Now, we checked Michael Pendle's background. We found out that he was arrested once in 2020 for armed robbery and conspiracy. We do not know if the two men knew each other. Reporting.
So it looks like the guy who potentially robbed him was arrested for armed robbery before. So, like I said, most likely got robbed. And I told you guys, it doesn't matter if you give it up. These super gremlins will rob you for your life.
Now, we checked Michael Pendle's background. We found out that he was arrested once in 2020 for armed robbery and conspiracy.
And yo, he's arrested in 2020 for armed robbery and already back out terrorizing the streets. Soros-funded DAs, guys. I mean, it's right in your face. And y'all voted for this. Y'all protested for this. Y'all marched for this. So, as much as it pains to say me, as much as it pains me to say, rather, you know, you guys voted for these types of things to continue to happen with no repercussions or accountability. That's why I will continue to say these super gremlins are on demon time.
We do not know if the two men knew each other. Reporting live from the Law Enforcement Center, Glenn Counts, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Yeah, Raymond, such a gifted young man taken so soon. Glenn, thank you for sharing his story.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work.